Alright, hello everyone, welcome back to my Let's Play of Monster Go Quest. Last time, we defeated Lily in Witch Hunt Village. And now, the only thing left is to return to the Savasa ruins. But before we do that, we should visit everywhere we've been to. So let's head back to Witch Hunt Village. You. Lily's soldiers all ran away, as they should. I would have built a guillotine for their butts. This village is finally free of their darkness. But now they're going to go and become scum of some other village. You should clean up after yourselves. Hunt them down. Imprison them. Execute them if you feel like it. Even though I want to forget the past, we can't. We can't let it happen again. Village girl. Thank you again, hero. This village is peaceful now. My arm has yet to recover. I don't want to shock everyone, so I'm still hiding it. Once the prejudice vanishes from this village, I'll be able to live without hiding it. Unfortunately, you have to work to get rid of prejudices. Wait. We decided to imprison Lily for life. In a jail on the outskirts of the village, and we'll keep her locked up until she dies. It's cheaper than the death penalty. With all the lawyers and the lawyer fees and court costs, it's cheaper to keep someone imprisoned for life than it is to execute them. They want to put her to death. But we decide not to kill her. We don't want any more death in this village, no matter how worthless her life is. How mature you are. I'm too spiteful for that. Thank you again. Eh? What do you mean I called you a plague on the village? Hey, I was really supporting you before. I just couldn't say anything. Lily wasn't able to gain control and run wild alone. They never are. It just takes enough people to be blind supporters of a single individual, and that's how tyranny starts. I'm worried about the Trump crowd. They seem to be nuts. Prejudice and hate in this village enable her to commit her atrocities. They didn't have to force the villagers to participate in the witch hunts in the beginning either. We were all walking along the same road. The subjects under a tyrant rule become tyrants themselves. I don't know, I think it's more that the tyrants under a tyrant's rule sometimes started as tyrants themselves. If someone tells you that you have to kill someone, you shouldn't do it. Period. The snitch was killed. The day after Lily was stopped, his corpse was found in the middle of the street in pieces. It said that he had over 100 wounds on his body. Crushing wounds, sword wounds, spear wounds, everything. Many people were killed because of him. It must have been the retaliation of the families. He should just get gone like the soldiers. He was stupid. The witch hunt isn't fully over yet. The grudge and hatred is still festering. Well, normally I'm against the death penalty, but he frickin' deserved it. Knowingly selling out to families to be killed just because he had a bit of a power trip from it. So yeah, he didn't get going while the going was good, and he paid for it. My mommy said I can talk to strangers again. Welcome to the Witch Hunt Village, traveler. Witch Hunt Village is what we've been called for a while, anyway. I don't know what the real name is. I still don't think you should talk to random strangers. You're not a random stranger. You're the one that people keep praising, so it's fine to talk to you. I'm very sorry about the other day. Look, I'm just a weak shopkeeper. I have no choice but to act like that if I want to protect my family. So from now on, I'll give you an 8% discount. That's a mighty generous discount. Don't stare at me like that. The last priest was arrested after the witch hunts ended. I took over as the new priest. Oh, I see. I'm sorry about glaring at you like that. Silhouette looks exactly the same. I couldn't tell. At first, I was going to destroy this giant church built on the money stolen from the deceased. That won't help anyone. I think a better use would be as a house for all the orphans from the witch hunts. Now that's proper use of a church. Lord's Mansion. This mansion is off limits. There are still suspicious things inside that we are investigating. We don't know what kinds of traps or dangers are inside, so we're waiting for a specialist to come in. I see. That sounds serious. Oh? That woman. A strange woman is standing in front of the mansion. Ah, Provostine, how I miss thee. You were at the haunted mansion, Natalia? The woman glances at me, then quickly walks away. Why is she here? What? Is she a friend of yours? Oh yeah, you were still unconscious after fainting before. Is that woman a monster? No. I barely felt any magic from her. So you can't tell if anyone's an angel, huh? No wonder you don't sense anything from Luca. I doubt she's a monster. A human, huh? But why was she here? This can't be a coincidence. Just who is she? Alright, leave the village. Alright, anything back at the pyramid? Going back to the pyramid? There isn't anything left to do there. That's true. I was just thinking of Sphinx, still alone there. And even if I went back, I don't think anything new would happen. Now, where should we go next? Sphinx isn't alone there. She's got the mummy, the cobra, the Nefertiti girls. She isn't alone. And she can leave anytime she wants. She doesn't have to act like some grandma that's constantly complaining that no one ever comes to visit her anymore. Savasa Castle. Let's see, anything new here? Oh, yeah, we left the right way afterwards, didn't we? So yeah, there should be plenty. Youth. I heard that the princess is training with the sword these days. I guess strength is expected from her if she's going to be the queen. The royal family came from a famous hero, after all. Other countries' weak royalties don't hold a candle to ours. Well, I mean, based in Paradox, they all seem to be descendants of Ilias's initial experiments with humans, so they all have some level of magic power. Woman. The princess is almost of age. Why isn't there more excitement? The previous queen was deeply in love with the king before her death. Oh, he wants her to rush into a marriage of political convenience. Oh, I skipped the other one. I approved of Ilias Cruz a few years ago, but now I'm a moderate. Making enemies all over the world with their terrorism. Losing their original purpose. They're just horrible terrorists now. Their members are deserting too. They're only 1/10 of what they used to be. Ah, yes. Religious extremism. It's good when it dies out. Even if you have to personally choke out the last little bit of it. Elder. I love myths, but every area seems to have their own special legendary creature. Kraken in the southern seas, Sphinx in the western desert, Yata no Orochi in the west, and Poseidon in the north seas. I like to see them all before I die. But as soon as I met one, that'll probably be the end of my life. Yeah. It is funny that Yamato no Orochi is the only one of those mentioned who doesn't possess an orb. I guess she's too greedy for Alice's taste. Anyway, Soldier A. I tried the Dragon Seal trial as well. But the mummy girl right at the entrance was too much for me. I was really lucky and managed to run away. I shouldn't have thought becoming famous by finishing the trial would have been easy. Well, if you went there with the purposes of becoming famous, you would have just been eaten by Sphinx, so it's a good thing you didn't make it that far. The monsters around here are really strong. But if you go further north, they're even stronger. I think I'll just retire here. Who here loves the princess? If I do, what are you going to do about it? I'd desert my wife for her. I'd throw away my life for her. I'll trade my wife for her! Yay! She's just as popular as ever. Too bad, boys! She doesn't swing that way. For most men. She makes an exception for Luca, that's it. Prostitute. I snapped at a customer when I was playing the princess. The princess would never do a blowjob, I yelled at him. Oh, you have no idea. Princess would never do something like that. Don't you think so too? I wonder. Weapon shop. Welcome to my 5-star set. Yeah, this is the same. Tool shop. Okay. Welcome. Are you looking for something in particular? How is it? Oh. Same. Okay. So weapon and tool shop are the same. Church. There was a strange entry in this book on animism. When Silva summoned too often, she will be tired out. When exhausted, something may change. Just what does it mean? It means that her sprite will change, and you'll get an achievement for it. The Mermaid Pub. Welcome to the second Mermaid Pub! Still daytime, so there aren't too many customers. As I take a look around, I see someone I wish I had. You! It's Lazarus. My father's best friend. The new leader of Ilias Cruz. The fanatic terrorist who bombed the school. What is he doing here? A mermaid pub of all places. Quietly drinking alcohol. What's wrong, boy? Do you have business with me? Lazarus turns his gaze towards me as I glare at him. Complex emotions whirl in my mind. But Alice's words slowly calm me down. My father's crimes are not my own. I can't let them bind me down. Yeah, but he's a wanted criminal! So, you could do something about that. Whack him with Angel Halo. He won't die. No, I don't. I calm down and bluntly reply. Lazarus gives a surprising response. That's good. Sit here, boy. It's depressing to drink alone, you know? Yeah? What this kind of guy want with someone like me? Expecting him to blow me off after my response. Trying to control myself. I sit down on the other side of the table. If I lose my cool here, it would be his victory. You're under no obligation to sit near him. Hey, waitress. Can I get an orange juice? Right away! Don't screw around. I'm not If you start drinking alcohol at your age, you'll be a crappy adult. I keep silent and sip at the juice. We sit in silence for a while. The liquor that Lazarus is drinking is the same kind my father liked. Why are you here? Are you going to bomb something here too? Wow, you bringing it up out in the open like that, are you, Luca? Bringing up the subject I wanted to. You know, if I forget about my father, this man is a criminal. If he's up to something, I have to stop him. Just whack him! He won't die! He's already blown up a school, that's plenty enough! Oh? Do you know who I am, boy? I didn't think I had become so popular with kids. Lazarus barely looks fazed at my question. He lets out a big sigh after taking another sip of alcohol. Anyway, I'm not doing anything here, bull. I'm just taking the desert route back to Goldport to rest at our headquarters. His cruise's headquarters is at the Goldport at the northernmost part of the continent. From Port Natalia, there are two routes there. West through Savasa, or east through Noah. The desert route is harsh, but you would attract less attention. That must be why Lazarus is here. Why'd you want me to sit with you? Just what are you up to? Why do you think I'm up to something? Because you are up to something? Do I smell funny or something? Then why? Your eyes look like his. My friend. I choke on my juice as words. Hey, something wrong? Are you drunk on orange juice? No, it's nothing. So, I look like your friend. Yeah, you're the spitting image of him. He died a long time ago. In a really pathetic way, too. Yeah, you would know all about that, wouldn't you, Lazarus? I hate to say it, but I agree. Huh? This boy don't know shit, does he? I don't know why, but you're an interesting boy. I wonder if meeting was fate. I don't want to think I'm tied by fate to this guy in any way. You are, more than you know. So, you an adventurer or something? You carry yourself pretty well. Is that how you try to recruit people? You know, I was a soldier myself a long time ago. I can tell your ability just from looking. It seems like you use many quick attacks and thrusting moves. Judging by how worn out your shoes are, that is. The way you walk. It's obviously you're used to quickly moving around as you fight. On the other hand, your chest and arms are still weak and undeveloped. It seems as though you don't have much combat experience. what you have experienced has been done in a pretty short amount of time. Judging from the way your best points have been focused on, you must have a pretty good teacher. If you're an adventurer, why are you training so desperately? Money? Honor? Revenge? All wrong. I fight for the weak! Oh, that's funny. I fight for the weak too. No! I fight for man and monster coexisting together. Don't think you're the same as me. Coexistence? That's impossible. Lazarus came back with a surprising answer. I thought he'd give an angry response, denying my dream with indignation and anger. He just shrugged and flatly responded, unable to accept that bland response as his answer. I just get even angrier. Why isn't it possible? What the hell do you know? I know it's impossible. One day, you will too. I'm different from you. We're the same. Wielding a sword in the name of coexistence. You're not fighting for coexistence anymore. You used to. Now you're just on an exterminating spree. I'm guessing you've met quite a few monsters or humans who disagree with you. And you've had to use that to crush their beliefs with your own. How's that any different from me? It's different. I'm fighting for an ideal world. That ideal is your ideal. Why do you think yours is correct? Thinking you must be right. That's just arrogance. I know what happens when you take that arrogance to the end. So what about you? Do you believe what you're doing is right? I know very well the self-righteousness of my actions. You realize your own too, right? Coexistence of man and monster. If you come across someone who disagrees with you, are you going to crush them with your justice? Lazarus stands up as he says that. Before I noticed, his glass was empty. The most important thing for justice is persuasion. That is not wrong. If you can't persuade people to see your own views, then you try to force it on them, then you're basically boiling down to might makes right. You have to educate people. You have to have convincing arguments. You have to listen to counter arguments. And you have to have a rebuttal to why the counter argument doesn't negate your argument. You have to compromise where you can. If you can't persuade anyone, your justice will fail. Exactly. If you know that, then why are you doing what you're doing? My path can't be changed anymore. My friend was killed by monsters. That's a bold-faced lie. Lazarus puts money on the table. Put that kid's juice on my bill too, waitress. I don't want anything from you. Hey, don't say that. I just want to treat the boy who reminded me of my friend. Saying that, Lazarus starts to head out of the bar. Right before leaving, he glances back at me. Make sure you get out of this bar quickly after finishing that juice. A kid like you shouldn't be in this place. No one should be in this place after what you've done. Don't screw with me. What are... Ignoring my yell, Lazarus heads out of the bar. Damn it. I'm in no mood to finish off this juice. Disgusted, I leave the bar. Hey Luca, you forgot to tell the waitress that that's a terrorist who blows up buildings with monsters in them. Alice joins me outside and gladly finishes off my juice. You took the glass? Don't you want some juice too? The Savasa oranges have quite a rich taste to them. Sorry, but I'm not in the mood for it. Starting today, I hate orange juice. That guy. Why did he go to the mermaid pub of all places? Make sure I get out of this bar quickly after finishing that juice. Feel like you shouldn't be in this place. Oh shit! He couldn't! Oh, he left his bag here. I need to return it back to the No! An explosion shakes the ground. I stand in horror at the side of the destroyed mermaid pub in front of me. Why didn't I realize it sooner? I knew he was a terrorist. Why wasn't I able to stop it? The anger and regret swirls in my body as I'm consumed by rage. Lazarus! Quiet down. It doesn't seem like anyone is dead. It looks like both the mermaids and humans are fine. That's convenient. Soldiers quickly fill the area as they start to pull out the wounded. As Alice said, it didn't seem like anyone was dead. Hey, Alice? Is what I'm doing just self-righteous? Who knows? Good and evil are relative. No matter what you say, it just comes down to stupid wordplay. But I don't even listen to humans and monsters who disagree with me. I just ignore them. That's what everyone in today's world does. You run into someone who disagrees, you blocked. Never have to hear their opinions again. It's why everyone's opinions are getting so polarized. Everyone's in echo chambers. I see. Some monsters attack humans and some humans attack monsters. And whatever the reason, the four Heavenly Knights are attacking or disrupting human towns. Even if I'm a hypocrite, even if it's self-righteousness, I can't allow that. I can't allow either side to commit violence or persecute the other. Let's go, Alice. We still have a lot to do. Renewing my oath, I continue on my path. Alright! And with that, we're back at Savasa Castle. That's right. But why would a monster kidnap the princess? It didn't. Since monsters are female, they wouldn't normally kidnap another female. Was it some sort of political purpose? You crossed swords with them, right? What was their purpose? Well, I was just desperate to rescue her and didn't really pay attention. I see. Must have been an intense fight. You'll rescue the princess while still a boy. You're amazing. Oh? The hero Luca! You're now the man of the hour. There are going to be many who try to gain favor with you. Be sure to be careful in recklessly accepting invitations. By the way, would you like to have dinner with my family? I would love to become close friends with you. What was that you were just saying there? The king is above any when it comes to both literary and military arts. But most of all, he is an expert judge of character. With just a glance, he can accurately gauge the caliber of someone. Because of that, we don't expect the king to make mistakes. We have high hopes for the princess, too. He chose well, Luca. Who knows, maybe he could pick up any monster bloodline you have in you. Since you've got royal bloodline in there too, maybe he's picking that up on that. Alright, so that's the Knight Leader. Wait, what am I saying? If my theory about him being a high-rank child, unless they joined the royal family down the line, he wouldn't be of royal blood. I think it's pretty easy to assume that they would join another royal family later down the line. It's good for the military to have free time. If they're always busy, it means the country is in disarray. I'm proud that my forces have a lot of spare time. Of course, I never neglect training and discipline. Some old documents about the Dragonsteel trial were returned. It seems as though the princess had them in her possession. I wonder why. You can't put two and two together there, bud? I am glad the princess has returned safely. My prayers must have reached Ilias. Ilias didn't do shit! Oh, I don't mean to downplay your actions, though. But you must have arrived here due to my prayers. Well, okay, there might be some merit to that, because Luca couldn't find the castle without Ilias's assistance. Saw. Oh, Luca! Please, take a rest in my castle. If you prefer, you can rest here permanently, as Sarah's husband. I told you what I thought about that. Huh. So, you are a companion of Luca's? It would be pretty troublesome if your relationship was too deep. So if you leave him to me, I can Are you really human? He's got a sharp eye. Sorry, that was rude of me. Whether monster or human, I don't mind. I was just trying to gauge your ability, but I wasn't able to. It seems I should ask you to be judging me. You're quite capable for a human. So you can see right through me, can you? At any rate, feel free to spend some time in my country in peace. Soldier's office. The odd atmosphere seems to have gone away. What do you think was the cause of all the tension before? Well, it's fine now that's quiet again. Let's just hope it continues forever. It will not.